Hello, hello, my lovelies. Today we're going to be trying out a microphone and talking about She-Hulk. I'm sorry if this sounds weird, but I have been getting a lot of complaints in my videos recently about a really tiny noise, so we're going to try this out. Let me know how it sounds to you. It sounds fine to me. I've already done some tests, so anyways, we're going to talk about She-Hulk. Without any further ado, grab your snacks, grab your drinks, and let's jump into it. Roll the intro. Welcome back. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, She-Hulk is a show that has had quite a lot of controversy going on with it recently, and I have tried to stay away from this stuff as much as possible until I watched the show. I was actually debating not watching it simply because of all the stuff that was being said about it, or the actors, or something somebody involved with the project said or something. The only thing I seen was somebody from the cast or the crew said that this show was deliberately made to piss people off. So I can see where they went with that. I can see that definitely in the show. I didn't even have to find that headline to see what they were talking about. And I will jump further into that later in the video, but right now we're going to talk about the plot. The plot of this show basically follows the same plot as the comic book runs. Is Jennifer Walters is a well-known attorney. She is also the cousin of Bruce Banner, who is, of course, the Hulk. And so Jennifer and Bruce are on a road trip one day, and they get in an accident. And because of this accident, Jen and Bruce end up touching cuts, and she ends up with the same condition that Bruce has. And it turns out that juggling a life as an attorney and a superhero is not something that Jen wants. And so Jen does her best to juggle both of these things and deal with her newfound Hulk side, which is She-Hulk. And there's this overarching thing about her and just trying to figure out life now as a superhero. But there's also some things about Bruce's journey that Jen does not have. Jen does not have this long struggle of trying to contain her constant anger. This is something that she says that she's already mastered because she's a woman. And I can see where people are kind of taking that maybe in a wrong text, but it's honestly true. A lot of women deal with stress and anger at the world every single day. I mean, I think they made that joke to try to be relatable. It didn't exactly land, I think, the way they wanted it to. I can see what they were trying to say. Overall, I thought it was an alright scene, maybe a little bit. I thought, personally, I was like, I thought we already knew that, but I guess there's people out there that didn't know this and are just mad about it, so anyway, moving on. That's the plot. It's basically a lawyer show mixed with a superhero show, and I honestly liked the premise. Yep, now we're going to talk about the characters. This next part is probably going to go by really fast, but a lot of the characters are just fine. I think all of the characters are just fine. I think that the woman that played Jennifer Walters did a great job. I think that she did what she could with what she had, and I think she did a pretty alright job. I liked her a lot. I actually found myself liking Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk quite a lot as characters. I thought that they were fine. I actually liked her a lot. I mean, sometimes I got a little bit upset with her, but I thought she was fine. The two, kind of like sidekick roles, her best friend and then like her best work friend, who's a guy, they're fine. Their dynamic works really good. I really liked them. Bruce is in and out. Wong is in and out. Matt Murdock is in and out for a couple episodes. Loved them. Always loved them. There wasn't really any other character. There's this woman named Titania, and she's played by one of the actors from The Good Place. And we didn't really get to know a lot about Titania, and I kind of wish we did. because her whole thing is kind of interesting. Like, the whole thing behind Titania is that she is a superpowered influencer, and that she ends up trying to sue Jen for the name of She-Hulk because she put Titania in jail because Titania broke through a wall while she was giving a speech or something at, her job as a lawyer, and so she kind of hulked out to save the jury because Titania was going to throw something at the jury, so she was like, hey, that's not okay. You're going to go to jail. Do not collect $200. Do not pass go. And so Titania comes back and sues Jen for the name of She-Hulk. And it's so weird that, like, there's this super powered influencer kind of thing going on. I think that's kind of interesting, but all we really get of Titania is that she's just really mad at Jen, and she doesn't really like Jen after what happened for her to get arrested. And she just starts, like, showing up at, like, Jen's friend's wedding and just starts beating the crap out of Jen while she's in her human form. I didn't understand her character. Why was she there? I mean, I understand the first time to, like, drive the plot. But why is she there? Why is she there, Kevin Feige? No reason, huh? They also throw in this weird plot line of, like, there's these guys trying to steal Jen's blood, and then they just rewrite it at the end. I didn't understand that either. I didn't understand that either. Did not. So, all the characters are fine. This is a sitcom. As soon as I seen this was supposed to be a sitcom, I really didn't have that high of an expectation. But I seen some people were getting unneedlessly mad that She-Hulk broke the fourth wall in the finale. And that is something that the character of She-Hulk is known for doing, is breaking the fourth wall. Same thing with Deadpool. Y'all don't get mad when Deadpool breaks the fourth wall, but when She-Hulk does, suddenly y'all have a problem. Y'all got mad about the Kevin robot, but not the fact we lost half of the Avengers in Avengers Infinity War. Y'all now think that was cool. But I remember a lot of you were pissed about it. Can y'all make things make sense to me? Sometimes I don't understand those critiques. You got mad about Jen breaking the fourth wall, but Deadpool can. Deadpool can literally make constant sex jokes and innuendos and wear things that are inherently very sexual, like a maid outfit and stuff. Has done a lot of out there things, even to the craziest of sorts of people. Y'all think that's cool. But yet Jen can't twerk in her office after getting Megan Thee Stallion as her client. Y'all know there's some really dark and messed up stuff in comics, right? In the comics. There is an entire plot line where Bruce and Jen end up having monster children in the comics. I found that out through a TikTok. I didn't need to know that existed. Now we all need to know that exists. That, and it makes sense in a video, so yay. I mean, it makes sense for my point right now, so. I just remembered that another good example of a superpowered character, and especially the people that are like, oh, Stan Lee wouldn't stand for this. Oh, Stan Lee wouldn't stand for this. Y'all know he created a character named Stripperella, right? There's a Marvel character called Stripperella. I'll probably put her up on screen if I can without getting some kind of flag. But yeah, I think I think She-Hulk is a lot less sexual than a lot of things in the Marvel comics or the movies. Again, Deadpool. I mean, there's gonna be those people that are gonna be like, yeah, well, you're talking about the comics. Yeah, but look at Deadpool. Okay, moving on. I also seen this really weird argument on TikTok of some guy who was saying that the whole MCU is in shambles simply because Titania hits Jen when she's in her human form and how that should have killed Jennifer. Bruh. What? Have you watched these movies? A lot of unrealistic shit happens. That's the thing you're hung up on? The MCU is not in shambles because a superpowered being hit a human being. I don't get your argument here. Anyways, I forgot, but another point of their argument was that like it should have killed Jen and that why didn't she automatically Hulk out because of like sensing Titania's hit coming and like her Hulk side didn't kick in. So that is suddenly breaking the whole continuity of the MCU with the Hulk lore in this version of the of Marvel. I mean, in Ragnarok, he falls and hits the fucking the Bifrost bridge. I mean, there is a parallel. I mean, that man went right onto the Bifrost. I think we all remember that scene. Anyways, again, moving on. I'm sorry. But I seen that argument and I had to say something because what? What is that argument? I'm sorry. I don't understand. That's not valid to me. That's not valid to me. Is it just what is that what is that opinion? I'm sorry. Anyway. Finally moving on. Okay. I don't know, man. It just feels like a lot of the people criticizing this show are like just trying to find a reason to hate it for some reason. I mean, all these same kind of arguments kind of popped up when Black Widow came out or Captain Marvel, and I understand there was other criticisms for other reasons, but I feel like there's a lot of unnecessary hate going on for this show because I thought this show was just fine. I liked it. I thought it was kind of a breath of fresh air from the usual Marvel shows that feel like they should just be whole fucking movies all by themselves. It just feels like to me the show has a lot of unnecessary hate. I thought this show was fine. I thought it was honestly okay. Some of the jokes didn't land. Some of the things were kind of putting that whole thing in your face that's just kind of saying, all women act this way, maybe. I don't know what people are trying to say about feminist propaganda. I know people are saying that, like, the jokes in it, or like Jen saying, the whole thing about her anger are like pushing feminist things. And I don't see a bad reason to spread that kind of thing. I'm not saying all of the things that they were saying in the show were good. I I just went over it because I was paying attention more to the show, but I did see it. I did recognize it, and I was just like, I didn't know who they were talking to, but I obviously didn't think that they were talking to me about it, so I kind of just breezed over it. I do see where a couple of the jokes could have been better. The show was kind of slow in some places. I mean, that's typical of a normal TV show. I thought this show was fine. I liked Jen. I liked the whole premise. I thought a couple of the episodes were actually kind of funny because of like the whole fighting the demons thing while she's like trying to have a date with this guy in her house. I thought that was kind of funny. Jen seemed really human to me. She just seemed like she was just going through things like a normal person, and I think that's another reason why people might have an issue with the show is like it's not your typical Marvel show. It's not leading up to anything really big and spectacular at the end. It's not going to affect really the MCU in some kind of way besides the legal way. It's showing us a version of the MCU that we haven't really got to see, which is the human side, not just the superhuman side, not just the aspects of like Shield or what's the other one? Hydra. We're not seeing, like, those kind of human aspects. We're seeing, like, the everyday civilian aspect that we kind of seen in Hawkeye or Ms. Marvel or even it's like all those other shows or like the intro to Spider-Man Homecoming where those construction workers are cleaning up the Battle of New York. We're seeing this very human side of the MCU. We're seeing the law aspect of it, which is a lot of things that I see people talking about is like, well, what if there's a whole insurance company for the Avengers?
Now I have a question for you from a different universe.
Okay.
Who is liable for all the vehicles that the Avengers destroyed?
Oh man, this is kind of funny because being the big nerd that I am as well as a lawyer. So I ran a D&D type campaign in a system called Mutants and Masterminds, and there was a whole separate insurance company that just dealt with superhero and supervillain type damage on this. So Marvel, I think Marvel, particularly I think in the last Ms. Marvel series, there was like some like damage control division. Captain America throws a shield and it bounces off and then sticks into the side of your Toyota Camry. And now you got a big shield indentation there. And after you take the pictures and share it on social media and say, look, my car was damaged by Captain America's shield, you're still left with a damaged car. Now who's responsible for that? Can you sue the Avengers for that? Yes. Yes, you could. For the property damage to your car, assuming you could find Captain America and serve him with a complaint. But again, it's probably a small claims deal depending on the value of the damage to your car. If the Hulk like smashed your car and threw it and stuff, yeah, they are liable for that. And I've so often wondered this. Are there clauses in the insurance policies in the Marvel universe for superhero damage?
I've seen TikToks like that where people are wondering like what would the insurance companies do to help clean up these superhuman messes? These are things that people have been wondering about. We're now seeing that kind of side where it's just ordinary people going about their jobs and sometimes they brush with the superhuman. And I think that's actually kind of a cool take. I actually just liked this show because I don't think that they were trying to really do anything with it, like with the MCU specifically, with the greater MCU, I should say. Like, it's still in the MCU, it still matters, where we're seeing this whole human side of things. And I think that is another reason why people are upset, is because people are coming to Marvel stuff for the action. They're coming to Marvel stuff for the whole superhero, kicking butt. And we did get a little bit of that in this show. I mean, it scratched my itch for it. I mean, I heard it was a sitcom. I was going to be expecting a sitcom. So, and I did actually find a whole table that like the people that are review bombing this show, as far as I can tell, are men in their 30s and 40s. Are just review bombing the crap out of this show. And I really don't think that this show was made for men in their 30s and 40s. And maybe that's why this show is also getting a lot of flack, is like people are just seeing all of these reviews from people and they're not actually like looking into it. And they're just kind of seeing, wow, there's all these really bad reviews. I guess I'm going to stay away from that. I guess everyone is saying that it's bad. I thought it was fine. It's not bad, it's not good. It was fine. I liked it. I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was anything special. I didn't think it was anything too terrible. But it's not the worst show ever, like some people are painting it out to be. I don't think this show was the worst thing ever. I thought this was fine. I thought this was fine. I actually liked Jen a lot. I thought she was just a normal human 30-year-old that just got handed probably a really bad deal. Um, but there's also this thing at the end of the show that I just now remembered. And I guess the reason why it slipped my mind was just like, why did they put this in there? But they gave Hulk a whole ass son. They mentioned in the show that like the Hulk was on Sakaar for something. But to get a whole ass child? Bruh, what the fuck is this shit? I have no idea what else to say, but that it was literally what I said as soon as I seen it happen. He's just like, "Oh yeah, guys, and this is my son." And then the whole show ended, the whole season ended. What in the who thought of that? I hope that's just something that they threw in there to piss people off. Because I feel like they did use this show a lot to weaponize people's anger towards the MCU and to kind of dig at people, which again isn't the coolest thing ever from the company that you're literally shilling all this money out to go see their movies and buy their, merchandise and stuff. It wasn't the coolest move, Marvel, but I also understand that, like, there's probably a lot of upset writers that are mad that all this stuff that they've made is just being shit on for one reason or another. So I kind of understand from that aspect when you're getting your work criticized over and over and over again, and then you just kind of have a moment where you're like, you know what? If I'm this person, we're gonna write that. We're gonna write exactly what they want us to, what they think that we're already writing. We're just gonna do that. So I don't like that aspect, but I understand kind of why, maybe from a creative standpoint. That's just me though. This show was fine. The show was just fine. The music in it served its purpose to be happy and upbeat and very sitcom-y. I thought this show was fine. I liked the appearance of Matt Murdock. I think that was my favorite part, was the appearance of Daredevil, of course. I liked Jen. I liked the whole superhero law division idea thing going on. The whole stealing Jen's blood was just kind of a weird thing that they monkey wrenched in there and just retconned anyways. So I didn't understand that either, but this show was fine. It was alright. That's all I gotta say about this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you prefer the microphone, let me know. This is something new I'm trying out, and please, please like and watch this video all the way through. A poor girl needs to pay her rent, okay? I gotta be able to buy supplies as well, like a better microphone if this one sounds like ass. So, if you feel like it, please like the video. Let me know your thoughts about She-Hulk and everything else down in the comments below. I love you all so, so much, and thank you for hanging in there and me being sick and everything. I still feel like absolute shit. I had a really bad migraine today. It's still kind of here, where it was everywhere in my head, which sucks. So, and if you can hear it probably in my voice, I'm still suffering with a sore throat and shit. So, yeah, that's my opinions on She-Hulk. I love you all so, so much, and I hope you have the best day. Bye.